Oftentimes you'll hear men complaining that women don't like to listen, or she expects me to listen to her, but she doesn't like to listen, or she'll always have, a counter, or she just can't, quote unquote, take instruction. I'm prideful of my ability to be a good director and be a good leader. And anytime where I feel questioned about that, it can make me feel like you lack confidence in me. And I don't necessarily like how that feels. So, not feeling like your girlfriend, your wife, your significant other trust you, it's pretty messed up.
I think what you just said is 100% valid. And I think that approach in terms of how he communicates her taking direction from him as her not trusting him, I think is valid, and I think it makes sense. The other side to that would be that him viewing it that way as a lack of trust also stems from that competitive perspective. I think what's hard for men to understand is that women are conditioned for harmony. So women are conditioned to collaborate with other people. So often her saying, how about this? How about that? Or is just, it's kind of like a brainstorming session. When you have people brainstorming the best solution to something, you'll have many people saying, how about this? There is no competition there. It's just in an attempt to come down to the best possible solution. Often it's coming from that collaborative space of let's collaborate together to find the best possible solution. It's not coming from a competitive space of my way or your way. I think men can interpret that as she does it my way or I do it her way. It comes from this, again, this very competitive lens where for her, she's coming from a space of harmony and collaboration. Him interpreting her saying, what about this? What about that? Is just her way of saying, like, let's do this in a harmonious way so that no one feels left out, so that no one feels any type of way. If a woman says, hey, babe, I think we should X, Y, Z, and her man says, yeah, I think we should do it this way instead, she may respond to that, but she often doesn't feel like a slight from that. Because again, she is conditioned differently than he is conditioned.
I think the way you described was also idealized by saying that women are just collaborative. The reason why I'm saying that is stereotypically in our community, what you hear is you got to check him. Ideally, what you just explained makes sense. And to be honest, that's all part of relationship coaching too, where you need to understand that the person you decided to be in a relationship with is not your enemy.
In terms of what you said about men being more competitive and women being more collaborative, seems idealistic. I understand why it seems that way, but I would say it's more a generality than it is idealism. When we say that men are more competitive in general and women are more collaborative in general, I do think that's true to life because of conditioning. That doesn't mean that if you're male, you'll nicely fit into a competitive box, and if you're female, you'll nicely fit into a collaborative box. That's not what I mean at all. I just mean in terms of generalities. In life, men are conditioned to view things much more competitively, and women are conditioned to view things much more collaboratively. So I do understand the example that you used about when women say, oh, you better check him. But I think that when women are saying check him, it's more so under the assumption that he did something wrong, more so than he's just trying to give her instructions on something. When I'm talking about women being more collaborative, you'll hear it often even in conversation. Women are much more say, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What are you going to wear? They're much more likely to ask curious questions of other people. Men, not so much so. So that's what I mean when I say women are much more collaborative. So in a relationship, when a man and a woman are having a conversation, he can often view the things that she says through a lens of competition. But for her, it's coming from a lens of collaboration and not a lens of competition. Nevertheless, it is valid for him to be like, okay, maybe she doesn't trust me. More often than not, it's not really coming from a space of trust unless they've had so many issues in the past to where they've gotten to a place where trust is missing in their relationship. But if that's not the case, often where she's coming from is just from a collaborative space.